G'day and welcome to the first edition of the Footy Show.
21st season of existence.
Welcome back to Turn It On.
Hello, welcome to the Sunday Footy Show. Get fired up.
The wait is over, and let's kick it off now.
Oh, how good's that?
Oh, look at that!
These women are creating history.
Get that into it.
Champagne Rugby League.
Reece Wells will seal it from Brisbane. Cleary, who punches through the middle. Nailed! Got it back to Gunderson. How about that? Everyone is on their feet. Charles going to go back to that. What a kick! Tackle of the century. Here goes Nico.
Got one person sitting.
Buster's got it. There you go.
Oh, yes.
Ponga, yes. How have they done this? The crowd roar. This is what you live for as a footy fan.
Yes, hello and welcome to the Sunday Footy Show. The finals are in full swing and we are back to regular programming here on the Footy Show. 2 hours coming your way with the gang. Brad Fittler. Why are you laughing at me?
I'll need to sleep.
We've only been having, what,
2 hours?
50-minute shows, but you've got to double the energy and double the input
Let's
today.
Go. Let's go.
And Turn It Up is back as well.
Turn It Up,
The
yeah.
we got?
award-winning segment.
Marco Mealy,
One of them.
yeah, one of the greats. One of the great fibbers, so he should go well.
Not in your clothes.
No.
Looking forward to that. There's lots to get excited about on the Sunday Footy Show. So this is what is in store. An epic win from the Sharkies last night. The minor premiers, the Raiders, have gone out in straight sets. It is the Panthers and the Doggies at a heaving at Core Stadium this afternoon. Prelims are locked and loaded in the NRLW as well. Yes, that award-winning segment, Turn It Up, is back, and we also have another special edition of Freddy's Pass Off as well, the Western Suburbs Red Devils. So lots to look forward to, but first off, let's take a look at the road to the grand final. So the Sharkies have locked in a date with the Storm next Friday night. The Broncos will be watching on very eagerly to see who wins this afternoon between the Doggies and the Panthers. Prelims locked in the NRLW as well. So the Roosters and the Broncos had a week off. So next week it is Roosters and Sharkies Saturday night in Gosford. And Suncorp Stadium will be absolutely heaving because the Broncos take on the Knights. We're going to be up there all day from Wide World of Sports Footy Show, women's and men's matches as well. And don't forget, you can grab your tickets for the weekend. Monday for club members, Tuesday for the general public at nrl.com/tickets. And of course, because we're back to regular programming, we have our Sunday salutes once again. So, Brad Fittler, you can do the honours first off.
All right. Every year we get the chance to see the next really serious superstars play. And on Thursday out at Leichhardt Stadium, we saw the finals of the Australian schoolgirls and schoolboys. That's Marsden Park. They end up beating Central Coast Sports High. An incredible game. The standard in the women's game is just out of this world at the moment. And this was the boys' game. St Pat's Blacktown up against Cobra Park. A couple of famous jerseys there. There was a fullback that's in there scoring the try, David Bryton. What a play. He's signed by the Dogs, but he's an absolute gun. And congratulations to him. He won the Peter Sterling medal, and then also to Evelyn Roberts. She was named the best player in the women's for the whole tournament. So some real stars coming through there.
And Evelyn's also at the Doggies, so David and Evelyn both at the Doggies, so great from them. Lockie Galvin, actually, going back 2 years ago, he starred for Westfield, so too Blaze Talangi. So it's crazy to think they were playing schoolboys footy in 2023. Oh. That was a little blunder there from Lockie Galvin.
Well, that was in the New South Wales final. They actually got the ball back just after this. This was near the end of the game, which would have cost them, but they actually scored a try and won the game, and then Lockie starred in the final. They end up beating, I think that's the first time. The record at the moment is out of 9 games, Queensland schools are winning 7-2. So they're on a charge.
You only do that once in your life. Get the ball down.
He will never do it again. And we've decided to dig into the archives, and we have some photos of our panellists in their schoolboy days. So there's a young Andrew Johns. Nice modelling there.
Good hair, Freddy.
I like that. Very cute.
Oh, back to the Brisbane North days. We were 17 there, 3 of us. There's Cameron.
Cameron?
Well, Cameron went to actually Marsden Park, who won the women, so there's some big schools up there. They've got about 4,000 kids, so they're doing a really good job with their footy teams.
Well done to all of those schoolboys and schoolgirls. Billy, who are you saluting this Sunday morning?
Well, I'm going back 7 days to Sunday afternoon footy, and it was the Broncos-Canberra semi-final. Look, I didn't think our game could get any better or any more entertaining, but this was incredible watching. It just had everything. If it was a movie, I don't know whether it would be a drama, a horror, a thriller, probably a little bit of everything. Action. Definitely an action.
Rom-com.
Yeah. Well, you got Reece. Yeah.
Well, they had 3 sin bins, and then it went for 94 minutes. Look, our game only goes for 80 minutes, but 94 minutes. The Broncos survived. Canberra went down, but I just thought the entertainment and the theatre around it was unbelievable. So saluting our game last Sunday afternoon.
And then it definitely turned into a drama for them last night, Joey. And the Sharkies got that win. Heartbreaking for the Raiders, but well done to the Sharkies.
Yeah, my salutes to the Sharks. There's always been that knock on the Sharks. They can't win the big games. And the stats have shown that the last couple of years, but they've won 2 big games in a row. Next week they go to Melbourne. But yeah, really happy for everyone in the club, and you could see them enjoying it. They won and won well, I've got to say. And in particular, Nicho Hynes. He's a knock on Nicho too that he can't win the big games. I thought him and Trindle together combined, they put the first 2 tries on. So well done to the Sharks. Up, Cronulla.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're backing them. Well, everyone should put this in the diary right now. Friday from 7 p.m, live and free here on 9, down at Amy Park. It is the Storm and the Sharkies. Yes, Brad Fittler.
Well, they've had this mentality, the Sharks. Every time they get interviewed, it's always no one gives us a chance and everyone's just riding us off. But they're going to have to keep that mentality. They're going to go from a Saturday game, coming home from Canberra. They're going to have to then go down, 6-day turnaround, travel down to Melbourne as well. So they want to keep that attitude up that no one gives them a chance because it's working for them.
They were certainly embracing that underdog tag, weren't they, Billy? And yes, Nicho and Trindle stood up, but even there were some unsung heroes as well, the likes of Teague Wilton, even Billy Burns. Like, everyone did their jobs. It was a really classy performance all round.
Yeah, and this isn't just a flick of the switch in finals. They've been building towards this. I think their momentum is incredible. They're probably the form team of the semi-finals at the moment. The 2 halves are combining really well, but I just get the feeling that they're doing all the little things well as a team. Their kick chase, all those little areas as a team, they're doing really well. They're absorbing pressure better than I've ever seen them absorb before. They were defending their try line for pretty much the first 20 minutes of this match. Canberra wouldn't take the 2 points. They kept going, they kept going. They finally broke, but then they went on with the job, and they've done that against the Roosters last week. Braden Trindle, Joey, I know they're wearing 6 and 7. Like, Trindle's in the 6, Nicho's in the 7. But it looks like they're playing the opposite positions. Trindle's doing all the kicking, he's on the ball, and he's actually setting up Nicho as like a runner.
Well, we often say about Nicho, he's more of a 5'8" or a fullback, and that's the way they're playing, even though Trindle's got 6, he's the dominant halfback, and kicking on the wrong side of the ruck. But he's elevated himself. He's such a good player. But it was great to see the halves combining, not the forwards getting in the road.
Did you know?
Halfback to 5'8", 5'8" to halfback.
Did you know Braden Trindle had that in him?
Yep. Yeah, for sure. I remember when he debuted, I remember talking to Craig Fitzgibbon, and he said, watch him improve. He said, you'd love him as a player. And so I've watched him very close. Every year he gets better and better, keeps building his game. Look at that, looking in, play out. His kicking game's really improved. Big chance, the Sharks. Big chance Friday night up against the Storm. It's going to be a cracker. But I was really happy for everyone within the organisation to somewhat get that monkey off their back.
Freddy, you noticed a sequence really in play that, in your eyes, really was the downfall for the Raiders.
Well, there's a couple of minutes there, and it was around the time Billy Burns scored this try, which was a really soft try considering what both teams and how their defence was online. But just after that, Sebastian Kris, there was support on the inside. He didn't quite get that. They got a penalty out of this, but this was a penalty against them for a high tackle. It was a great tackle. It was nowhere near his head, and just, very sensitive to referees when anyone's head goes jolting back. And then just after Blake Brayley, this was on that 5th tackle of the penalty set, and then they kicked the goal. They went 8 points clear. Pretty much Canberra after that moment. It looked like they couldn't answer it. They couldn't get it. And I think also the confidence of Cronulla being in front, which is a really good sign for them. But that was like 2 minutes of the game, I think.
They had a real chance when Sebastian Chris went through there. If he could have found a teammate on the inside, they were under the post.
Starling was there.
Hudson was there.
Okay,
That makes it 18 all. With 20 minutes to go, it's game on. Like, I know the scoreline blew out, but they had their chance, Canberra, and they had their chance last week against the Broncos. They were leading by 16 points with 15 minutes to go. It'll definitely feel like the one that got away, but I just don't think they had the strike. They didn't have the half strike that Cronulla had. That was pretty much the
Ethan
difference.
on the left side.
Was that the difference?
A lot of the left side just went to Hudson. They did not have any flow in their attack. I heard Gus saying it's all one pass footy. It'd go off the ruck to the halves, and especially on the left, they'd find Hudson. Hudson's a very dominant character. He needs a strong half inside of him to say, no, I'll give you the ball when you want the ball. They missed this bloke's running game. Really missed him on that left side.
Do you think the result would have been different if he was there?
Oh, it's hard to say. It just goes to show you've got to take your chances. That one with Sebastian Chris, watching that, I was thinking, geez, it's close to a sin bin. Not for the high shot, as a professional foul. Now, Kennedy gets wrong-footed and he just goes doink and hits him. If he doesn't do that, he scores. So for mine, that was very close to a sin bin. Not for a high shot, for the professional foul.
I don't think their attack was their big problem. Obviously, when they lost Ethan Strange, they changed their whole game plan. And they just saw, you know what, let's just run over him to score points. We'll find a way. We'll get a kick or we'll do something. And Horsburgh scored a great try, just reaching his left arm out. But their right side defence just never improved the whole season, really. Like, that was just, everyone went to their right side defence to score tries, and it happened again. They come up, Cronulla's all their tries and gaps all come through that right side defence. Timoko, Fogarty. So they just need to sort that out. Before anything else, they need to get that right because they just chase points.
That was their Achilles heel last week as well. When Reece Welch come back on after being sin bin,
4 tries
he went after the left-hand side, which is the right-hand defence for the Raiders. He scored a try, he set up a try, and then I think it was Gemmet Shibazaki went through off Billy Walters as well. So a lot of points coming down that edge.
Although they're heartbroken with the result, you've got to say that the Raiders over the next few years will be hard to beat once again because, yes, they're losing Jamal Fogarty, but Big Papa, he's staying, and Ethan Strange has had an incredible year. Those young outside backs, there's a young kid called Ethan Sanders as well that they're backing in the half. So it's tough to watch these pitches, but the future is bright over the next few years for the Raiders.
Yeah, for sure. They're going to be up there for the next half a dozen years. They're going to be up around the top 4. They'll definitely be top 8 teams. So I don't know what's coming through there in the juniors. Freddy, do you know how they've gone in the juniors?
Well, you know what they've done well? I talk to Canberra all the time about their pathways in juniors, and they're sort of locking up areas down Wagga way. It's got a really incredible nursery for players coming through. The one thing about Canberra is they're stable. They've got a coach who's stable. They've got a board who's stable. Their CEO, Don Furner, everything's stable about Canberra. So I don't think you'll get much change out of what happened this year.
The reason why those pitches are hard to watch and how disappointed they were in the sheds is because it is so hard to get there. It is so hard to get in the position that they got this year, and they know that they have to go right back to the starting line and work that again. It's not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed that they'll get back there next year because of the work that you have to put in to get there.
But Corey Horsburgh, I thought, was a good example. Like 2 years ago, he was majorly carrying another 6 kilos. Obviously, he got convinced that we need to be fit. And their team looked fit. They won so many games at the back end of the second half. Like, you don't do that unless you're fit. So I feel like it's mostly now in their genetics now that they know how to get fit and they know it's important. So
we spoke about their right side defence. Ethan Strange will go to the right side next year with Ethan Sanders there. How do you improve that? How do you? Because I think I saw a stat. I think 3 times as many tries were down their right side. So is it repetition or do you have to make changes? Well, I think if I look at the right centre position, that's your best defender. You look at all good right defenders or good right centres, they're good defenders. Crichton, Campbell Graham, that's his natural position. So people who can actually get up, understand what's going on and close plays down, because that's everyone's better passing side. So you need to find out if Matthew Timoko is the best defender as a centre. If not, I'd be changing him.
And the one thing about defence is that's coachable. Like, it's hard to coach talent and bring some talent into a player, but defence, you can actually work with players and improve their defence.
So heartbreak for the Raiders, but on the flip side, in the Shire, they've been singing Up, Up, Cronulla all night long. Doesn't get any easier. A prelim date with the mighty Melbourne Storm next Friday night.
My proudest club game victory was my debut in the NRL. We were playing away at Shark Park. I was 19 years old and jersey was about 4 times too big for me, and Craig Bellamy, it just happened to be his first season as coach, and he named me in the centres, but I played fullback. Incredibly, that was my first ever game as a fullback. I'd never played the position before. Obviously, Craig being up to his games, he didn't want to put too much pressure on me being in that isolated position, but in his first game as coach as well, that takes a whole heap of courage, and pride soon turned into reality when we were 22-0 down after 20 minutes.
KG is there! Oh, they are scoring at will.
I actually scored the first try of the game for us. Not overthinking things, I just took off from dummy half, and the rest was very much instinct and reaction.
Here he is, finding some open spaces, showing them a clean pair of heels, looking for the finishing post, and will get there.
Remember, actually, Paul Gallen was the one nearly running me down, so I'm glad I got to the line. I wouldn't have lived that down.
Slater has carved them open and got the Storm on the board.
There was a moment towards the end of the game that I'll remember for the rest of my life. There was about a minute to go on the clock. Not only did I fulfill a childhood dream, but having my family there, they'd been through the whole journey of the dream of being a rugby league player, and when that finally came to fruition, to win the game in that fashion, they were sitting in the grandstand. I'm sure it was a proud moment for myself, but I can't imagine how proud it would have been for my parents.
What a special moment, Bill, to reflect on that. To be able to not only play first grade, score a try, but have a comeback victory like that. Does it almost feel like that takes you back to that moment?
Yeah,
I had goosebumps watching that.
Yeah, I did too. Actually, 3 years before that, I wasn't even playing the game. I was working down in Sydney as a track work jockey, stable hand, and yeah, all of a sudden I'm at Shark Park making my debut. It was a dream come true.
You're now watching your own kids come through and playing sport.
Yeah.
What sort of kick do you get out of watching your kids play sport?
Yeah, no, I love it. I love the enjoyment. I think sport's great. It's great whether you're at the highest level or at a junior level. So I really enjoyed it. I enjoy being a dad and watching the kids play, whether it's netball or footy.
Well, thanks for the trip down memory lane, and as we just saw the rivalry.
Gal just a bit slow, was Gal?
He was another 5 metres. He got me.
Thank goodness he didn't get you.
That would have been embarrassing.
We would have never heard the end of that from Gal. Anyway, he always is talking about 2016 and can they do it again, because this rivalry, it goes way back. Put it in your calendar, 7 p.m. down at Amy Park on Friday night. Live and free here on your home of finals footy, Nine's Wide World of Sports. And if you do want to go to the match, you can head to nrl.com/tickets. They do go on sale on Monday for club members. So club members jump online tomorrow, and for the general public on Tuesday. Or, of course, we've got you covered, as I said, every single minute of the action here on Nine. Now, an interesting battle between these two sides, given they've won one match apiece so far this year. Do you read anything into that, or is it just completely a fresh slate?
Semi-finals is totally different. Throw the form out the window. This will go right down to the wire. I'd imagine Melbourne are heavy favourites, but wow, the way they're playing, and they're on a roll, the Sharks. This is a toss of a coin game.
I think the fact the Sharks have won down there a few times is really good for their confidence. They go into the game, and we've spoken before about how they're the underdogs. They're definitely the underdogs here. 6-day turnaround travel. Melbourne have had a couple of weeks. They get some players back. So they're up against it. And the other fact is, Melbourne got beat last year in last year's grand final. That's your greatest motivator. Sitting as a loser after a grand final is a really big motivator. So Harry Grant hasn't won a grand final. Pappenhausen and Munster.
Harry hasn't.
Harry didn't play in 2020, did he?
No.
No, so...
Wow.
Cam was still playing.
Yeah, so there's plenty of blokes there who haven't won grand finals and got beat last year. That is a great motivator. 17
of the last 20-odd out of 20-odd grand finals, teams that have the week off have won. It's such an advantage. Huge advantage.
Yep.
Are they drawing on that? I mean, for every individual, it's probably different. Some probably prefer to remain focused on the present, but others probably like to draw on that hurt and the pain from last year. What's the balance for Craig Bellamy in mentally getting the best out of the boy?
Well, I think the fact that a lot of the players in this year's Melbourne Storm side were a part of last year. Obviously, guys like Stefano Atoikamanu weren't there, but I think individually, it stays inside you pretty much forever. And then when you go on and potentially win one later on, it heals a little bit, but it never leaves you. Losing a grand final, that's a lot of hurt. We just saw the images of the Canberra Raiders and how much it hurt exiting the final series from winning the minor premiership. You try and lose the grand final and then come back the year after. But I think this is going to be a great game. Melbourne are starting to get healthier. I think Ryan Pappenhausen will be available. Jerome Hughes has been training a little bit, so he'll have to have a pretty big start to the week this week. And you know, his return may be on the cards. What does that leave for Jonah Pezzett? Does he stay in the team somewhere? Look, there's a few question marks still to be had for the Melbourne Storm, but I think the Sharks are the form team of the final series at the moment, and I think they'll be heading down to Melbourne really confident.
The one thing in the Sharks' favour is, well, Hazelton won't play, but they're steady. They're fit, they're healthy, they're winning games. So that's going to be something in their favour, while on the Melbourne side, they've got some big decisions to make. Jerome Hughes got a broken arm, and he's looking to come back. Jonah Pezzett, who was fantastic against Canterbury. Tyrone Wishart, if Jonah Pezzett doesn't play, where does Tyrone Wishart sit in all this? So Cronulla don't have those headaches. I know you think they're good headaches, but they're not. They're decisions you need to make somewhere along the line, which have a bit of a question mark over them. So Cronulla have none of them. So that's... being like that and being comfortable with your team's a really good headspace to be in.
The one advantage Melbourne do have is they've had a 2-week preparation leading into their preliminary final. The Sharks have a 6-day preparation. One of those days they've got to get home, and another day they've got to recover. One of those other days they've got to travel to Melbourne. So there's a lot going on in the preparation of Cronulla, but they would consider that game against Canberra last night as a part of the preparation. So... yeah, I just think the 2-week preparation leading into preliminary final, you're in peak fitness, you're feeling good, you're fresh, and you've had 2 weeks to prepare for your game.
What would you do with the reshuffle? If Jerome Hughes is back, do you think there has to be a spot? Tyrone Wishart has to be there, so is it unfortunate that maybe Jonah Pezzett misses out, in your view?
I wouldn't play Jerome.
You wouldn't? You wouldn't risk him?
I wouldn't. I'd let the doctors decide, or the physios. It's such a big risk. And we saw against Brisbane when he broke his arm, defensively, I thought he was favouring that shoulder. I think you commented on that, Freddy, his technique. When he tackled Piakura when he broke his arm, he was that far off the ground, protecting his shoulder. I think it's far too big a risk. Far too big a risk.
He said he was, I think on our coverage last night, said, look, he's a chance, but you'd imagine all of the individuals are doing everything possible to put their hand up.
Yeah.
The other big battle that we'll be looking forward to, Harry Grant, best number 9 in the competition, up against someone like Blake Brayley, who, Freddie, you'd have to say he's in career best form as well. And he said this year he almost had to rewire his brain to think run first, and obviously having the likes of Adam Fanua-Blake there to help, it has been incredible. But, yeah, and to captain his local club as well, it's been a great year for Blake Brayley.
Well, the fact he's changed his game this year, really, where he's actually ran more, makes it harder to defend him, because you haven't got as much footage to follow and check out his habits too much. So I think the one thing he did yesterday was he didn't run all the time, but the time he ran, his selections were perfect and just broke the lineup, broke their rhythm up, and he pretty much changed the game with just 2 or 3 runs. Very selective.
Yeah, for a dummy half to be running like Brayley is, his teammates have got to be doing something well. His teammates have got to be fighting to play the ball quick and giving him those looks, giving him those opportunities to get out and attack a broken defensive line. And guys like Adam Fanua-Blake, their outside backs are doing a great job, great contributors to getting them out of trouble. So it's not just Brayley running, it's creating that opportunity for him to run.
It all seems to be clicking in the Shire at the moment. After the break, we have the Sunday roast. Yes, it is back. All the big issues in rugby league. We're going to talk the Victor Radley and Brandon Smith saga. Michael Chammas is in the house. He's been breaking all of those yarns this week. Yes, a 2-hour show means the Sunday roast is back. We like that little opener with your bobblehead.
What was that? I haven't got a barbecue.
We'll have to get
What's
you
in
one.
Joey's barbecue?
Mahoney's barbecue.
Oh, all the time.
Oh, they were good. Back in the footy show days. Anyway, Michael Chammas is in because he has been very busy this week breaking all the stories around the Brandon Smith and the Victor Radley saga. Now, I'm sure at some point all of our viewers have seen the headlines throughout the week, but just to recap for those who may have missed it, can you summarise the events that have unfolded so far this week? Because it seems like every day there was a new twist and turn, Chammy.
Well, it started during the week when the text messages came out, the exchange between Victor Radley, Brandon Smith and the alleged drug dealers. Now, these are allegations that Queensland Police have put forward as evidence. They've seized phones. These are the text messages they have from Victor Radley's phone to Brandon and to the alleged people. Now, as part of this, obviously this has come out. This will eventually come out in court, but it's come to the surface now, and the Roosters have acted quickly based on the information that was in the media. Now, this is not only information that will be in the media. As I said, it'll be in court, but the Roosters aren't going to wait. They've decided there's enough disrepute brought to the club. Victor Radley was on the verge of being moved on from the club. Nick Politis rang Sam Ayub, Victor's agent, during the week and said, start looking at other clubs, Super League, NRL, look around. And he flew back from LA. He was on a business trip in Canada. He spent the night in LA. And over that period, he returned to Australia and he was met by Trent Robinson, who did not want to lose his player. He felt it was unfair. And the reason there was so much pressure on Nick Politis to act in a manner to remove Victor from the club was because of comments he made at the start of the year in the Telegraph, where he claimed the club had zero tolerance against drug use. He said anyone who was seen to have done this would be moved on from the club. Now, that was straight after the Latrell Mitchell white powder photo. And there was a view that Nick said what he said because of the Book of Feuds, the hate for South Sydney. He was trying to embarrass the club. However, people like Trent Robinson, Mitch Orbison, the general manager, and players at the club felt it was unfair for Victor Radley to pay the price for Nick Politis' vendetta against the Rabbitohs. And they argued at a board meeting, Trent and Mitch Orbison argued that we should punish him. But what are we going to achieve by getting rid of him? And they've sent a strong message. It's 10 weeks suspension without pay, $30,000 donation to charity. It's a big message that they've sent to Victor Radley and other people. And now we await what happens with Brandon Smith, and the court case returns October 9.
It's an unprecedented punishment, 10 weeks suspension without pay. Do we think it's too harsh?
Well, he accepted it. So he obviously doesn't think it's too harsh.
Because he would have rather that
he wants
than
to
be
stay
sacked.
the Roosters.
Yeah.
You know, he understands what he's done. He's embarrassed his coach, he's embarrassed the club, he's embarrassed the chairman. So, you know, I think what he's gone and done wasn't a smart thing to do when he's put everyone under pressure. So the other part is that he hasn't been charged with anything. So I don't know if you'd be able to sack him. On what grounds would you be able to sack someone over a couple of text messages? So I think at the moment, the way it happened is a way a good club handles something. The information came out. The next day, they sat down and got it sorted. I know the Players Association isn't happy about it, but at the end of the day, he accepted it. They proposed it. It's over.
Freddie, can I ask you this? If the Roosters had beaten the Sharks last week, and this was going to come up, would they have done what they had done this week? Would they have stood him down? Or would they have just said, oh, we'll wait to see the information comes out in court?
I would have waited if I was the coach or the chairman, but that's never to be known. So at the moment, I'm just happy the fact is they proposed something, he accepted it, and everyone can move on.
But the RLPA are looking into it because they believe, even though Victor Radley is happy with it because he wants to stay at the club, that that's outside the jurisdiction of the collective bargaining agreement. So the RLPA is saying, hold on, no, you can't do that. You can't give someone 10 weeks without pay. Do you think they have a case and maybe the Roosters will have to reverse what's been agreed upon?
I think the Roosters might tell the RLPA to get stuff, but their argument is...
Could Victor also then, before you answer this, could he just pull out of the... You don't have to be a member. It's not compulsory.
Yeah, I'm not sure what his rights are there if he removes himself, but the plan was for him to meet with Nick Politis tomorrow.
Right.
And he was going to sign away his rights to recourse on this situation. He was going to basically agree to the Roosters' conditions. Now, the RLPA's concern is it is a dangerous precedent to set. In this situation, Victor Radley is happy to accept what is there because he knows the alternative was potentially being moved on. The RLPA say this is not a punishment that is available to the clubs, and they've raised concerns with the Roosters. They want them to provide the detail around what that punishment is, and then they're going to raise a dispute with the NRL if they're not happy with it. the issue is, and the Roosters have got clever here in this situation. Other clubs are saying this is going to be some sort of rort. Well, the Roosters, in the way that they've broken down this punishment, they haven't fined Victor Radley. Because if they had fined Victor Radley, it is not something that they can apply for a salary cap exemption for. They've just done 10 weeks without pay. They're not paying. So they have the right now to go to the NRL and say, we want salary cap relief as part of this deal because we're not paying him for 10 weeks. They may not get it. The NRL don't have to give it, but they can.
Do you think they will get it?
I think there's going to be enormous pressure on the NRL because there is a narrative in the game from fans that the Roosters get looked after. It's going to be huge for the NRL. Sorry, it is
Freddy's
true.
giggling.
It's true that that's the narrative. I'm not saying it's true that the NRL do that, but that is the narrative. The other part of this that the clubs have raised is he's 10 weeks without pay. That's effectively $125,000. But if you were to fine him $125,000, he would have to earn $250,000 before tax and then pay it. Whereas now, it's $125,000. He's only going to lose $65.70 net. And the other part is a $30,000 donation to charity, which also means it's a tax deduction. So there's nothing that they've done wrong there. It's very clever accounting. I don't know who they've got there doing their business, but it is a way to make sure that they are looked after from a salary cap point of view. They can apply for an exemption, and that the fine, it appears really, well, it still is. Even 75 to 80 is a heavy punishment, but it's not as much as what it looks.
Well, he's worn all the heat, Victor. There's 7 other players there, and the amount he's bought wouldn't just be for him. So he's worn all the heat.
Yeah, well, I guess you can't bring any other players into this conversation. There are no allegations against the players. The only reason Victor Radley's name has been brought up is because of the charge to Brandon Smith, because he had facilitated the supply, he passed on the number to Victor Radley. Now, as far as I'm aware, Queensland law states that if you are going to charge someone for drug supply, you have to name who they are supplying to, which is why Victor Radley's name was brought up in the first place. He wouldn't have been brought into this. And the Queensland police aren't worried about the alleged use of cocaine. They're worried about, this is part of a bigger investigation into the supply of cocaine. It's small fry worrying about the use and how many other people this drug dealer would have
charged,
allegedly...
Victor.
Victor's not charged, no. So...
Do the NRL have a position to come in and do anything with Victor Radley?
They're going to have their own integrity unit investigation once the court case is finished. They're not going to do anything now. They're going to wait till all the facts come forward because we don't know what else is still to be presented in court. Is there surveillance? I don't know what else there is. The Roosters have acted now, though. They feel as though this is a harsh enough punishment. They want to move on. And now it's in the hands of the courts, and let's see what the Rabbitohs do with Brandon Smith.
Because he's also facing those betting charges. There'll be pressure on the Bunnies to see what they do once it all unfolds.
When do they stop on the betting thing? Like you go down to the paper shop and they go, oh, you're on the bench. Oh, no, I'm actually starting. Are you going to get in strife for that? Where's it stopped there? And if you're that concerned about the gambling and the players, don't take the money off the gambling companies. Simple.
The thing is, in
they
that
cop 50
situation...
million, don't they? Is it 50 million? Is that the number I've heard?
Yeah, there's a lot of money that goes...
There's a lot of money.
Yeah.
If you're going to
it's more than that. It's everywhere.
The thing is, it's a lesson to all players because I think it started off pretty innocently, if you read the text exchange. Where Brandon Smith has got a little bit to worry about is where he actually said, can't believe I'm paying $91. The friend said, should I back it? Brandon Smith's reply was, I'm starting. However, the timeline, though, at that point, Wayne Bennett had already said he was playing. He was named on an extended bench. Wayne Bennett had already declared that he was playing. They named him to make his debut. Where he got himself, which he might find himself in a little bit of trouble, is he said that I'm starting in relation to the money, that question being asked about.
So you can't tell your wife that you're starting and she goes
How
and
many
sells
players would do this? How many guys would tell it? But this was directly in relation to a bet, though, John.
But he's not saying to the bloke, yeah, put 500 on for me.
No.
He's saying, oh, you know, I'm tipping you. Do
Players
this.
just need to be smarter. At the end of the day, we're talking about the integrity of our game here, drugs and betting. The players, they've put themselves in this position. Yeah. It's hard to fight penalties when you're the one in the wrong.
The argument that it happens is not going to be strong enough, Joey, because it shouldn't be happening. We saw a few weeks ago...
Well, what rules are they going to put in place?
Well, there actually are rules in the contract. You cannot be... It's inside information. You can't be passing on information to people where it benefits them, where they can go put on a bet. Remember a few weeks back, the odds... I think it was Bulldogs versus Panthers. There was a game where Penrith's 16 players were arrested. The odds plummeted.
Who did they investigate there?
But clearly one of the players in Cup coming up or one of the players not playing had told someone and it got around, right? That's the risk the game has to keep managing, because you don't want to be in a situation where it's a free-for-all, because that will happen more. Someone will get on someone at $100 to score a try, whatever it may be. You just got to protect the integrity of the game. And in this case, Brandon's going to be a made example of.
Lots more still to play out. I'm conscious that we do need to hit a break. So head online to read the latest from Michael Chammas and Danny Weidler on Tom Trebojevic as well, because Manly have now reduced that offer. So all the details on the Sydney Morning Herald website. Stay with us here on the Sunday Footy Show. After the break, we're going to talk about the NRLW prelim finals, because they are locked and loaded.
So they've given...
When it comes to finals, anything can happen.
They're going to try to win it with a try! Southwell!
She had us all fooled.
Puck, a long pass, Brezard's in.
Ripper of a pass to get out to Frezard.
This season, we're coming for a grand final redemption.
If you put lots of effort in and you show it for your mates, the footy gods will be on your side.
Look who's coming through. It's up there. She disses it out the back. No way. Are they going to stop it this time? No way.
Back-to-back's definitely the goal.
Navidi for Kelleher. Spiral pass. Oh, spectacular. Tap on. That is extraordinary.
Semi-finals time, I think everything gets thrown out the door and it's a new slate, so we're ready to step up.
Parker goes over to confirm Newcastle's punt through to the prelim.
Building throughout the season and it'll be awesome.
Johnston sprints away.
So excited and we're so up for the challenge.
And the Sharks are through to the prelim. They'll take on the Roosters for a spot in the grand final next Friday night.
Oh yes, an historic year in the NRLW. 12 teams in the competition for the very first time, and now just 4 remaining, 6 days and counting until prelim final number 1. It is the juggernaut of the Sydney Roosters, who did not lose a game all season. They are hosting the Sharks on Saturday night in Gosford. And Freddy, it was a solid performance from the Sharkies yesterday up there in Townsville. Much like with the men's team, they were really embracing that underdog tag, and a couple of unsung heroes stood up in this one.
Yeah, well, the hooker, Georgia Hannaway, she's actually a 5'8", and then they had some injury problems, and since she's gone there, she's changed the way Cronulla play. A lot of their play was always off Emma Veron, and they had Ellie Johnson scoring a try. And I found just when she's playing now, that speed out of dummy half, she brings Jada Taylor into play more. Everyone gets very excited. She actually went off with a HIA. And when she came back on, she made a couple of runs. I think she scored a try, but she really ignites her team at the moment playing in a hooker. So watch out for her.
There was a moment just before half-time, the little halfback from the Sharks, Kitty Aratu, she made a try-saving tackle, and the scores were pretty close at this time.
Not that little.
Yeah, incredible. I think she kicked the ball out on the full, off the kickoff. So it shows the power, but this moment here, you know, big finals are won by your defence, and that was a big play just before half-time.
So they take on the Roosters next week, and although there's no Taryn Aitken for the Roosters...
Don't they sell?
She has?
Yeah.
You'd still be backing the Roosters, right, who are on a run of something like 17 matches straight. I mean, every time they lose players, they've still got star power coming back. Yeah, she should be playing 6, no doubt, with Jocelyn Kelleher in the halves, but...
Taryn Aitken, she was just absolutely carving up. I remember watching this. It looked more of an impact injury, but, yeah, they've got the depth to overcome it, and they are so fast and powerful, the Roosters. They're going to have to be really on their game, the Sharks, to trouble them.
This is last year's grand final, so we heard in that tape piece that the Sharkies are using this as motivation. They had a great comeback. There's Georgia Hannaway. They're playing at 6, but they had a great comeback in the second half, but in the end, the class of the Roosters was too strong. So, Freddie, they're going for back-to-back.
Well, they attack you all over the field. So they've got Isabel Kelly and
Jess
Surgis in the centres, and then you've got Olivia Koenig in the middle. They're just at you all the time. And the thing is, which John Strange has done a great job, is their sort of base of their game so good, so professional. They just kick really well. Keller's got a great kicking game, and then all of a sudden when they want to attack, they just attack, and they're just so... Amber Hall, she's always scoring tries. She's a weapon, so they're very hard to beat.
What about the pressure of being undefeated? like the whole year, the two big guns are the Broncos and the Roosters. You know, they're going to play on the grand final. Now it's crunch time. Now it's the preliminary final. The Sharks, if the Sharks can put pressure on the Roosters and just start throwing a few question marks at them and putting a few question marks in their head, anything can happen. So the pressure of being undefeated, that's going to add some weight to them.
Well, that even happened, so not last year they won the grand final, but the year before, the same thing had happened undefeated and then, or at the top of the ladder at the very least, and they went out in week 1 of the semis when everyone was saying they'd win the comp. So
there you go.
Sometimes pressure can do funny things. Tamika Upton, what an absolute superstar.
They don't do funny things to her, she gets better.
We're very much looking forward to seeing Tamika Upton in action next Sunday because Suncorp Stadium is going to be absolutely heaving. We have a Sunday spectacular. We'll be up there from 10 a.m. The gang will be there for Wide World of Sports. We'll be up there. We've got about an hour and a half show for the Sunday Footy show, straight into the NRLW wrap, previewing the prelim Broncos and Knights, and then the NRL prelim. Well, the Broncos will be eagerly watching the Doggies and the Panthers this afternoon. Billy, I know you've been lucky enough to call a couple of those Broncos games, but Tamika Upton, she's definitely the best fullback in the game, but potentially the best player in the game.
She's a star, and she can do it in so many different ways. Her running game is unbelievable, her speed and just the way that she moves. But then she's added this passing game to her footy as well. She gets the ball first receiver, she attacks the defensive line, always in the game and in and around the football, and then when she gets clear, it's nearly shut the gates, no one can catch her. I love the way the Broncos play. The Broncos have got so much flow to their footy. They all understand their role. Scott Prince has done a great job coaching this team, and they're going to take some beating because they're healthy as well. There's a young star on the bench,
Suaso, yeah.
Suaso. Get her on Freddy in the 8th.
Incredible. Only 18 years old.
Tearaway.
So keep an eye out for her.
RLPA Rookie of the Year.
Yep.
I think she was. What about so they're taking on the Knights, and once again, we talk about it every week, but Jessie Southwell was almost faultless, particularly with her kicking game. Joey, talk to us about how she continues to take her game to a new level. And also now, with no Taryn Aiken for the Gillaroos, there's a massive opening there.
Oh, she'll be half back there. I thought her and Taryn would have been half and 5'8" anyway for the Gillaroos, but it's an area of the game she really focused in on the off-season, Jess Southwell, and you can see the rewards. A kicking game, a long kick game, a short kicking game, it's just so much better than anyone else on the field. And when you can finish your sets with a bit of polish, which Jess does, it just goes a long way.
Bring it on. Prelim final next Sunday up there at Suncorp Stadium. We'll all be there from 10 a.m. After the break, we're going to talk about the chaos in the capital last week. Have the Broncos and Ben Hunt and Michael Maguire as well finally calm down for that. They will be eagerly watching the Core Stadium this afternoon. See you in a moment. Well, a Champagne Rugby League moment of the last week all round. We didn't have a chance to dissect this on the Sunday Footy show because this was our Sunday night match. Something we've probably never seen on a footy field, but we saw last night, Freddie, what it probably took a lot out of the Raiders for the Broncos. Sure, they were on the other end of it and got the victory, but get the week off as well going forward. How hard is that to then park that and move on?
Well, Ricky spoke about that. His team had actually done that to other teams. They did to Penrith not long before that, and they did to Cronulla early in the season. So a few games that actually come from behind and won on the bell. And he understood the emotional side of that, of winning, and then he realised also, he said it was always going to be a hard week. But I thought they got up to it. We spoke during the footy show that they had their chance to win. They just missed. There was a couple of minutes there where they dropped it. It fell away. So I think they were good in losing the 5-8. Strange. That was a bad call. But that Sunday game was incredible. What an amazing game. Like, it just looks so good. The colours, the crowd, then all of a sudden the events, winning the game twice. Winning twice and still losing. That's pretty hard to take.
What about for Ben Hunt? He did a really beautiful piece, actually, on 100% Footy with Michael Chammas, where he opened up and said, you know what, the demons of 2015... It took him a long time to get over and genuinely haunted him up until only recently. So, Billy, it was nice that, I know it wasn't a grand final, but I think all rugby league fans would have thought it's nice that Ben Hunt had a moment that was his, that he could own and feel special about.
He's had some pretty good moments in his career.
He has, but...
Yeah, and this was one of them. Like, this is a really nice moment, especially because of the jersey he's wearing as well. That means a lot. And I mentioned before, when you lose the grand final, it stays with you. It doesn't leave you.
Yeah.
And the way that they lost in 2015, you know, Jonathan Thurston, he remembers that one, you know, because of the good times. Well, there was another team out there, and, you know, Ben Hunt's gone back to where he started his career. A great fella. He's doing some great things at the moment, and, you know, who knows? Could another grand final be on the cards for him? So, a nice moment for him last Sunday to finish it off.
Spoke earlier about the Melbourne Storm. Remember this team, the majority of this team lost a grand final 2 years ago, and they had it as well. Like, they were well in front. What a game that was. So they've also got some, you know, really high-level motivation going on inside them.
Here it is. This is... So then we saw, what, the best 20 minutes of football
ever.
Potentially ever from Nathan Cleary.
In a big game. Yeah. Well, Nathan got him home in the end.
Yeah, it was funny when I interviewed him, though. I said, was this the best game? He said, I let the tries in.
Yeah.
A lot of the tries were around him, so he recognised that importance and the role he played there, but... Wow.
Well, the other key guy that actually put the Broncos in a position to be in a winning position in that grand final was Ezra Mann. Now, if he's available, does he come straight back into this footy team?
100%.
Like, he's got X factor about him. Reece Walsh has been doing it on his own. Well, doing the brilliant stuff on his own. The team are doing the team stuff, but Reece he's putting the points on the board. If he can get a little bit of help with Ezra Mann, maybe Adam Reynolds, I think Selwyn Cobbo's going to be available.
Yep.
They're starting to become healthy at the right time of the year as well.
Selwyn's playing for Winner Manly this weekend, so this afternoon. So he's definitely available. All reports as of yesterday coming out of the Broncos camp is that Ezra Mann will be available, and hopefully Adam Reynolds as well. So
Xavier Wilson?
Yes,
the
correct.
big front rower.
Wilson's a one.
Well, no Carrigan.
No Carrigan.
So given to Billy Walters, who's done his ACL, is it Ezra and Renault straight back into the halves, Ben Hunt to 9?
Would you go, Joey?
I really... Once again, similar to Jerome Hughes, I'd let the doctors and the physio make the decision. If there's any doubt over Ezra or Adam Reynolds, you wouldn't play.
If there's no doubt over any of them.
Oh.
Come on, pick your spine. I'd go Reece Walsh, Adam Reynolds at halfback, Ben Hunt at 6, and I'd put Ezra Mann on the bench. And then you can actually give Corey Pakes a rest, put Ben Hunt at dummy half, and then bring Ezra on fresh.
I'd go the other way. I'd have Hunt on the bench just because hooker's such an important position. You get him coming on later, striking out a dummy half, and I'd just leave the 5/8s to 5/8s.
Yeah, Hunt to the bench. But it's a big decision. With Ben Hunt at halfback, they have totally changed the way they play, particularly on the right side with Katoni. That's been the big one. Ben Hunt's unlocked Katoni on that right side, so it's a good headache to have. But, geez, some big decisions coming up. But, yeah, Ben Hunt to the bench for me.
What about for the Kangaroos then? I know going back about a month ago, you were sitting on the fence and said you wouldn't say James Tedesco. You said James Tedesco, but Reece Walsh is having
take them both.
An absolute cracker of a month.
Take all 3.
Billy?
Well, he's taking 23 players. You can't take 3 fullbacks.
I think they're all in the conversation. I think they all warrant to be... They could all be the Australian fullback. You know, they're all capable of it. The way that Reece has played the last 6 weeks has been outstanding. I wouldn't be against putting this guy back in. He has been superb. He'll probably win the Dally M medal this year. Does it both sides of the footy. And Dylan Edwards, you know what you're going to get from Dylan Edwards. So, yeah, look, I don't think you can make a wrong decision there.
I think you definitely got to take Reece Walsh.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Somewhere, yeah.
Reece Walsh has got to go in the squad, and then I think it's a decision between Dylan and James Tedesco.
Do you think the Broncos have a preference who they play? They'll be watching this afternoon. Does either side instill less fear?
I reckon they want to play Penrith after what happened a couple of years ago in that grand final, for sure.
Well,
for sure. If Ezra comes back, the left side attack with Ezra and Reece. Reece likes to sweep to his left. So, geez, their left-hand side of Ezra and Risa together is lethal. Fast track, it's going to be warm up there next Sunday. 28 degrees, full house, 4X flowing like fine wine.
We should get some schooners here on the show, given the temperatures.
Yeah, I'll have a crack.
No Pat Carrigan. What sort of impact will that have?
Well, I think it changes the way he does a little bit of that ball playing, especially from that right scrum line. And he frees up Reece on that left side. So if they go Willison, it's going to be more of a power game.
And Kobe Hetherington plays that. He can play that role, I reckon.
And the other thing that it does is it supports Payne Haas. If Payne needs a break, Pat stays out there. So it'll take that away. So whatever three middle forwards you start with, you're going to have to nearly rotate all three of them.
Just let Payne play the whole game. He only goes off for 5 minutes.
We had that ankle injury last week as well that he's nursing.
Yeah.
Time will tell. But by the end of this afternoon, we will all know, and the Broncos will know who they are facing next week at Suncorp Stadium. So coverage from 2:30 this afternoon, a massive pre-show here on Nine's Wide World of Sports. It is the Doggies and the Panthers. We'll preview it all after this short break.
There's certainly some concerns.
Penrith fell apart.
We sort of realised pretty early on that we weren't in the position we wanted to be and we weren't playing the footy we wanted to be.
We spoke about being confident that things would turn, but it's one thing saying that, it's another thing making it happen.
And then I think after round 12 we were dead last.
To win 4 premierships straight and now be at the bottom of the ladder, their season's gone.
Sort of a line in the sand moment that, you know, this wasn't good enough for us as a club and
we needed to be harder on ourselves at training, and
individually we need to improve, but as a team we need to play better.
There was definitely a turning point where if we really wanted to make finals, we had to obviously train really hard.
Train as hard as we can. That just slowly started to turn the tide.
I'm just incredibly proud of the group. I don't think there's many teams that would have been able to pull themselves off the canvas like we have.
Could have easily just rolled over and just lent on the success we've had over the last few years, but to ignore all that, to dig deep, to turn things around in the face of all that scrutiny and all that pressure.
Is this the start of the resurgence?
Really felt like we were getting to the footy that we knew we could play.
Panthers were dead last. They've climbed their way up.
Week by week, improving, getting better.
I just think they're really priming themselves for the right time of the year.
Come final time, it's a clean slate, a whole new competition.
At some point, someone's going to win it outside the fore, and I've got the absolute faith and the utmost confidence in this group that we can do that.
They're not giving away the trophy without a fight.
It's a new journey. It's a different route to try to get to the top.
There's no next week now. You need to be out there winning.
It's obviously going to be harder, and everyone knows that, but I think that's just adds to the story.
And what a story it is. So wild to think that if you go back to round 12, the Penrith Panthers were sitting dead last on the ladder. But you cannot write off not just a champion team, but a team that has won 4 premierships in a row. It's going to be epic this afternoon up against the Bulldogs. But the big news for the Doggies this weekend, it was confirmed yesterday that their inspirational captain, Stephen Crichton, has been ruled out. So when we saw him go down against the Storm, we instantly thought he's gone for the year. But he was named originally in that extended squad. But now that he's out, Billy, does that make you lean more towards Penrith?
I was leaning towards Penrith anyway. Look, given the fact that he got diagnosed with a mid-range syndesmosis, I thought it was
a long shot.
Yeah, winning the lottery if he got back and played. But yeah, look, I still think they have a pretty strong side. I think Matt Burton moving to the centres. Toby Sexton comes into the halfback position. He'll control a lot of kicking, take a fair bit of pressure off Lachlan Galvin. And there are reports that Reid Marnie might be starting the game at dummy half as well. So going back to that formula when they were playing some really good football through that middle part of the year, up against maybe a fully strength Panthers team. Mitch Kenny is named on the extended bench, so this is going to be a whopper of a game.
Even Stephen Crichton on the sideline, when he was in that moon boot last week, he was just up and about. Oh, this is it. You can hear it. It shows that, I mean, they definitely love him out on the field, but he's as energetic and as inspirational as they come, Freddy.
Yeah, one of the big differences of the club has been him, without a doubt. If you speak to anyone at the club, they all talk about his leadership. His leadership starts when he walks into training, his attitude, his relationship with his players, and obviously his love of the team. You can just see the way everything is about the team. And they're going to miss him. The good thing is they get Bronx and Zeri back, which is a real big bonus for him. So he'll move to right centre. Burden will play in the left centre. So I think, if anything, I like their team. Turns Burden into a runner. And I've got to think, the footy gods, if you're around, no Montoya. Remember Montoya? They sent a letter to the Sharks doctor and to the review committee about his injury and saying that they thought it was only a weak injury, and then Nico Hines ended up sort of reducing his...
it went down from grade 2 to grade 1, so we only got a fine. And look what Nico did last night.
Nico's gone on 1-2 games, been fantastic. The Bulldogs, no Montoya. So you've got to think the footy gods, if they're around.
So you reckon good guys finish last?
No, I'm just saying that the gods might drop.
That's what you're saying. Or something might drop on the Doggies.
The gods might drop a bit of love,
Fairy
you know?
dust
Yeah,
or something.
That's right. You never know.
Looking forward to that.
If they're around,
Good
if
karma.
they exist.
Hopefully.
Renner karma.
He can play.
Oh, dad joke. What about the battle of some of the halves? We spoke in your Sunday salutes about the fact that going back only 2 years ago, Lockie Galvin and Blaze Talangi were playing in the Schoolboys Cup, and now they're in a do-or-die semi-final at a core stadium with over, 70,000 fans out there. Two really exciting young playmakers, Joe.
I'm happy that Lockie Galvin's back at 6. I think next couple of years will be a 6, then maybe develop into a halfback. I think he's a running 5'8". And Blaze Talangi, well done to Penrith. They didn't put him straight in. They made him earn it. And I've got to say, now that left side with him and Casey McLean, it is lethal in attack. But then also defensively, they were poor at the start of the year. They've tightened their defence. So well done to the Panthers and both those young players. Can't wait for them to go at it.
Toby Sexton, halfback. You like that move?
Yeah. For sure. It takes the responsibility off Galvin. It makes Burton play to his strength, where he's a running player. And he's an out-and-out halfback, Toby Sexton. He's a number 7. So if Reid Marnie goes to dummy half, you're right, Bill. At the start of the year, that was the formula for all that success. That was his first touch the other night.
What about for Sexton, the personal battle up against the best 7 and potentially the best player in the game there, that man, the Iceman, Nathan Cleary?
Well, it's a great opportunity for him. I bet you he's excited to do it. And if you're going to be the best, you've got to beat the best. So this is going to be one hell of a game. I can't wait for it.
Mitch Kenny, you mentioned a little bit earlier. So he's still in the extended squad when they cut it yesterday, which is usually a sure sign that, yes, he will be there. I don't know.
There's a reason he's still there.
We always give the raps to the blokes like Dylan Edwards, Nathan Cleary, but flies under the radar, probably not within the squad, but he is a crucial member of that side.
We all know how influential Nathan Cleary is in this footy team, but I think this man is just as important for the middle of the field. Not just with the football, and that's an important part of the game because he gets the ball to the right players at the right time. He's the dummy half, but without the football, he leads the line speed. He's as tough as they come, and he's got great contact in his defensive line. So I think it's a huge inclusion if Mitch Kenny does play. It could be the difference of them progressing to the grand final or possibly falling out this weekend.
We have coverage from 2:30 p.m. Joey, are you ready for your award-winning segment up next?
Oh, yes, it's back. Turn it up.
Turn it up is back. The Ogre. Mark O'Mealy's in the house. He's also doing Freddy's pass-off, so he had to get a few little practice runs in before we sit down with him. Of course, he will be hoping that the Doggies can get the job done this afternoon.
Yeah. 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 X gon' give it to you. Wait for you to get it on your own.
There it is. Canterbury winners of the grand final.
The fabric of this club was built on a history of great eras and winning premierships.
The brilliant Terry Lamb.
I needed to come to Canterbury to win a comp, and that's what I did.
Halligan, has there been a more important kick for Canterbury?
It was basically the epitome of what we were supposed to do.
O'Neilly wants to have a bit of push and shove.
For me, it was coming here and making a mark at this club and hopefully making the club proud of me.
We had key leadership on the field in many areas.
You look at the Mortimer brothers, the Hughes brothers.
It was almost like everybody just waltzed on the field and we knew what was going to unfold.
Oh, beautiful pass to Mortimer. It's a try. That was magic.
We liked to entertain and throw the ball around when we played, but then along came a really tough pack of forwards under Warren Ryan. They ended up with the title of the Dogs of War.
Warren Ryan changed the whole dynamic of our football. It was more about defence than attack.
Comes out to the blue and white ring of defence.
The Dogs of War made sure that if you came to Belmore and you wanted to win, you got hurt in the process.
Down to the ground he goes in a vicious tackle.
I hated coming to Belmore and play. It's quite an intense and intimidating place. So to actually turn the tables and arrive here in '94 and join that sort of crew.
Oh, the entertainers!
This wasn't a club that made defensive decisions about waiting for the other team to play. You got up and made the decision so the other team couldn't play.
They'd never say die, these guys.
Ruthless. That was easy, mate. It was ruthless. We just kept going. We're coming at you.
Here's O'Mealy. He's gone straight over the top.
Know your role, do your job, have a presence, and earn everything you get.
The Dogs have won it.
When you lay that success down, then anybody that wants to pull on a Bulldogs jumper, you know that you're in a place that expects nothing but great results, and you try to make sure that you can live up to that.
What it means to me to wear the Bulldogs jumper is I've earned the jumper, I've worked hard, got pride in it, and I've got pride in the community.
I don't doubt that these guys are going to want to win a premiership to look back and reflect and say that part of the great tradition of the Bulldogs was upheld by us because they've got a rich history and we've got to make sure that we make it richer.
Welcome back. Turn it up. It's back. Look at everyone cheering at home. And what a guest, the great Mark O'Mealy. Ogre, we just saw that at the Dogs of War, how tough that club is. Some of your toughness and your one-on-one battle, in particular with Bryce Gibbs when you was at the Tigers. Talk us through that. Now, was this all premeditated, you going at Bryce and him going at you?
A little bit. 05, they won the comp. We didn't make the finals. I had Mace and Nate and Braith and these fellows telling me, you know, the next crop were coming through, take your Origin jumper, Australian jumper. The week before, we had a bye and I'd done something wrong and I had to play reserve grade. And folks, he goes, there's your punishment. You're playing 80 minutes reserve grade. Boys all come watch while I had the bye, winding me up. And Anzac Test was about to get named and yeah, they just kept feeding it and I just kept probably wanting to listen to it and bought into it.
Ogre, where's the nickname come from?
When I was
we can obviously see why, but who christened you?
Yeah, gorgeous. Yeah, awesome. When I was at Norths, at Northern Eagle, I was at Norths, it used to be on, pretty easy. And then when I started making it through the grades at NRL, it was either Adam Muir, Jamie Goddard, Paul Stringer. We always hung out together. And back then, we didn't have towels and that in the gym. And you just go wrestle suit to wrestle suit, on the bench, off the bench. And, you know, I perspirate pretty easy.
You're a sweater. You're a sweater.
So, yeah, so sweater, and it just went, you're like a big sweaty ogre. And then
it stuck.
It stuck. And then once, as a kid, once you try and get rid of it, you know the story from there, it just rolls.
Well, you played front row in the 90s as a teenager. What was that like?
Yeah, awesome. Mate, 17, it was awesome. Yeah, I couldn't ask for anything more. I was just lucky of family circumstances. Dad's youngest of 13. His nephews are older, so I had such... Growing up, being the youngest of that sort of family, I felt a lot older. So for me, when I debuted, I thought I was probably 21, 22. I'd grown up in the country and stuff like that. So for me, I didn't really know my age, if that makes sense.
You're always the intimidator. Was that evident for your juniors as well?
No. Maybe a little bit. I was just a big kid when I started in under-10s, scoring tries and stuff. But yeah, I probably got questioned through that. I had to go and train and do a lot of boxing training and get asked a lot of questions over and over and over. And that probably instilled my toughness, if that makes sense.
That Origin clip, Were you yelling out at Mick Crocker? Because you and Croc used to go at it. Look at this. Petro, mate, Petro would get a year now for that. What happened there?
It's ironic. So I had, literally when this was coming out, I just had my neck surgery, so I went, oh, yeah, makes sense. No, just that's the best part of the game, is taking the hit up, setting it. As a middle, your job is, and playing with you guys telling us to set platforms, run, quick play.
Run hard.
Run hard.
Big.
Like, the job's pretty simple, so for me, it was just, yeah, that was my favourite part of the game, like taking that kick off.
What about watching the game now? Like, a lot of what you were renowned for, like that real sort of physical, personal battles, a lot of that's been taken out of the game to a degree. What do you
maybe
think now?
because the game's too fast, like not too fast. It's the moment. You just keep moving moment to moment. I think it's a lot more brutal than my era. You know, it might have been 3-6 times a game. Now every collision's like brutal. I look and squirm and go, how are these boys going to feel when they're getting older? But in saying that, the era I was in, you could get away with a bit more, so you go and chase people, where now the game's cleaned up for the good.
You say you focused on the simple part of the game and kept your game simple. You're a coach now.
Yep,
do you think about the game differently?
Yeah, Sticky actually hit me with this question at the start of the year. How do you coach? Do you coach how you want to be coached? I try and just help kids. You know, we've all got a story, and there's a lot of stories. If I can help them define their role, give them just individual positional trademarks to work on, then I think that can benefit them with a lot of repetition. You can't get bored with the basics. The basics, you know, today's final series, it's going to be our game this afternoon. It's just going to be, they're going to grind, high speed, high completion rate, and just go at it. And you know, if we can instill that into the next crop, then it's healthy for the future, and it gives them a leg up when they're coming through our systems.
You had some health dramas in the offset. I don't think anyone knows about this.
I kept it quiet until Mace found out.
Willie.
And everyone.
So you can't keep a secret, Willie?
So, yeah, the end of
You had a back operation.
Yeah, so the end of last year, you know, as we all do, we neglect stuff when we retire. Back was playing up for a while, so I went and got to get my lower back fused. I woke up and in emergency with, yeah, just some delusional stuff going through my head, and seeing the family and some really close friends and that by. So throughout the surgery, my heart stopped twice.
So you died? You died on the slab, yeah? Yeah. So another month on one. So you had a heart attack twice, and you were Gonski.
Yeah, obviously, I don't remember. Obviously, you wake up and your chest and all that's very sore, and you see the people around you that you care about. But, yeah, had to go through it. Had to wear heart monitors for a long period and try and get through to see what was wrong. It'd come through a nerve, just some correspondence through a nerve. So then I had my neck and thoracic done as well.
It's changing,
after.
Changed your life?
I said to you earlier, I'm starting to feel a lot better. Yeah, look, I remember we played a game this year at Belmore, and you were there watching your son, and you were telling me about you could go and surf again. And I went, all right, well, I want to be able to do that and stop in pain. So I think I feel better now. In the last, couple of weeks, I've been getting better. So I'm not even a year, Joey. So I'm 4 months to the neck and about 11 months for my lower back. Yeah. So I am getting better. Yeah, I'm not a great golfer, but I'll probably have to slowly get back into that.
Wow.
How's Sandy going? How does Sandy handle everything?
Sandy's your wife?
Sandy the wife.
Yeah, so we planned it for her to get double knee replacement 6 weeks before, and then me to go and be back. And it's always been about me. The same time when she had her 2 ACLs done in 06, it was about me again. I'd broke my leg in a test match at Brisbane, so, and then she had to look after me. So, yeah. But no, we're going well.
Some true or false? You and Sandy, did you used to practice each other, tackling each other in the backyard?
There's a little bit of truth.
True or false?
True or false? Did you and Sandy used to work on your defence?
There was no tackle, it was hit-ups.
Oh, hit-ups.
Bump pad, bang. Yeah.
Did you used to rub Danker rub into your head? True or false?
Yes, yep.
Pre-game fights, were they all premeditated, where you'd pick someone out?
Yeah, pretty much.
Did you listen too much to Willie Mason before a game?
No. Like Mace, you'd feed off his energy if you were a bit down. Mace was Mace. Like, you'd get him ready, and then as he got older, you'd just make sure he was ready to go.
That early 2000s team, Mace, Sonny Bill, Nate Miles, Roy Asatasi, Redmond. What was it like playing with all those?
Jonathan Thurston.
Yeah.
But that forward pack.
And then,
It was... That's the best no one knew.
It was something special. Like the 04 grand final, we lose Pricey. You've got Roy Asatasi on the bench. So, yeah, very...
Bobcat, there's no.
Very lucky very lucky to come through that era, and most of these boys were all brought through the pathways in that era, so it was a pretty special moment, and very lucky to be a part of that squad, and hopefully, you know, well, not hopefully, but got to have some good experiences with these fellas.
Mate, a lot of clubs have their own sort of character. The Dogs have always been renowned for the family club. Why the family club?
Yeah, you're spot on. So I started at Norths and went to Northern Eagles. You know, with the liquidations for them two clubs, there were some issues. And I had the great Wayne Beavis management at the time. Management. And he goes to me, mate, you've got a young family. You had your first son at 16 and then second at 18. We need to get you a family club. Went to Melbourne, North Queensland, Roosters, and then went to Canterbury, and it just fit. So it was really good. Walked out of the meeting. I shook Punchy's hand and walked down to the car, and Beaver said, well done, you just locked in 3 years. So he made the decision for me, and it was probably the best decision that worked out for my career.
You're still at the club coaching in the juniors.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of ex-players coaching in the juniors. You've got Josh Jackson,
mate, Jacko,
Steve Turner.
Yep, we've got a lot coming through the pathways, and we've got a lot of ex-players that coming out. Like Willie's still there, comes in, helps your session wherever he can. We had Roy Satassi as well. So we've got some really good people around the club. And I think it's good because the guys connect to different people, so having, you know, different variations. We've also got Andrew Ryan doing our regional, Jamie Feeney. So there's a few we've got around. So, you know, for the different people, coaches, style, we seem to cover it. Grubb's even in there as well, doing kicking all the time. So, yeah, there's a lot of us, and we get to try and nurture these generation through.
What about some of the front rowers you played against? What about Petro? Tell us about playing
Yeah, Petro was the toughest. Look, Webke was in his prime.
Petro the toughest?
Yeah.
Why?
Because he didn't stop. Didn't stop. You'd hit him, run at him, hit him, he'd just keep coming. I got him one day at Penrith. Freddy was coaching us off the kick-off. His eyes rolled, and I thought I had him. I stood up, and he tore my hip pointer off. So you just can't get in. Yeah, it was so hard, and such a humble gentleman. Yeah. And I got to room with him on 3 tours. So very respectful. As I said,
it was an era of great front rowers, wasn't it? That early 2000s.
We had all the New South Wales ones: Jason Rolls, Luke Bailey, and then all of a sudden in Queensland, there was a host of them.
Shane Webke.
Yeah, and like I said, Webke was probably he was in his prime probably 2000 when I was a kid. Where Petro, when I was probably in my prime, was the hardest.
What was it like for you, Freddy, playing with Ogre?
Yeah, well, actually, we had a couple of great games together. I got a real memorable one we played together. I think it was in 2001.
You're in
Ogre set me up for a try. Well, one thing about Ogre, a bit like what we were saying before, is I'd always catch the ball off kickoffs, and I love having that relationship with the front row. He just said, mate, you set the standard. You get one run. You only do this once, the first run. So I used to love doing that. We always used to want to receive, so I'd always want to receive the ball, and I used to love that first hit up, the first part of the game.
What would you say to him before he hit up?
Mate,
Scream.
exactly.
I was fried
that
game, and Freddie was calling me Max all game, and I remember he yelled at me, Max, I need you, run, I'm going to push with you. Look at Webke's wobbling, get to him, and I stumbled through and...
That's how you set up the try,
and that's when your halves, like that era. As later we got on, your halves didn't really talk, but when I was younger, your halves were dictating to, so it made it so easy.
Wow.
If no one's talking to me, what do you probably do? I'd probably fill it to the back of the ruck and tuck away, but because he's pushing me, telling me to run that line, look at your cues, look what's in front of you. So I was
Did you just
very
not
lucky.
know his name, or did you just call him Max?
Just Mad Max.
Mad Max.
Mad Max, is that why?
I think that was at the Empire late one night.
What about you and Mace, you and Willie? You got a great relationship? You got any good mate? Because he's texting me, he's watching. So just hammer him, throw him under the bus.
No, mate, we respect each other that much. We grew up near each other. We've played in so many teams together. Mate, I love him. He's just so full of energy. When I need a dose or I'm feeling down, I just ring Big Mace and just lifts you off the table. Talking about greatest front rowers, I played against Willie once, but I reckon if I had to play against him, he would have been up there as well. I think he was very physical. I watched some stuff he done where I'd played with other players that couldn't probably cop that, and Mace always stood up through controversial and the physicality.
A lot of people wouldn't know we all had a year together at the Roosters, 2008, and we got to the semi-finals. What do you remember about that year?
I remember we bowed out first 2 finals, just like Canberra did. I remember that was one that I thought we could have won that year. I thought we had a good enough team. It was when momentum was starting to swing with the refs, and that we dominated both first halves and then fell away in the second half. And I remember poor Saliola getting knocked out off a
kick-off. Reuben knocked him out, yeah.
So, and like I said, Reuben, very tough. I loved him when he was at Canberra, but probably when I played him in the middle, he was at the end.
Yeah.
That's why I can, you know, easily back Petro.
Wow. Well, thanks for coming on, mate. We could talk all day. It'd be so good, but you're going to stick around? You've got the pass off.
Might throw a couple in.
This will be really entertaining watching Oga pass. Stay with us more after this for the Sunday Footy Show.
Welcome to the passing competition. So no bloody arguments, you understand? No foot fault there, Greeny. And a 10. No pressure, Luke. This is one of the more important things that happens here on a Sunday, understand? Oh, beautiful. Rounds of applause.
Yes, welcome to another edition of Freddy's Pass Off. We have some very special guests from the Western Suburbs Red Devils. So we have Sam, Brock and Ryan. So they are ready to rumble in your award-winning segment, Freddy.
That's right. So West down in Illawarra competition. How did the A grade go this year?
Yeah, they won it.
They won it?
Yep. And we got junior and senior club champs for the race. So.
How many teams you got? How many? What are your numbers like?
Teams, I'm not sure. We've got roughly 450 registered for the boys and girls. That's just in the juniors. I'm not totally sure what's in the seniors, but the juniors, we had their 60th year this year, so yeah, it's pretty good.
And awesome. Oga, you've stuck around, so you're going to go first.
Yeah,
so,
apparently. Front rowers. Do I get a handicap?
We'll get stuck in. You might get a handicap for the neck.
The Stewart brothers, Jason Ross.
The 30 second
Rosie coached there first,
yeah, he did, yeah.
Freddie, where are we going to make
from that line there?
That one there.
Hey, boys, you've got to come down here and help. Come on.
When you get the balls back in the bucket.
Yeah, you go in behind.
30 each side.
There you go.
Oh, so I'm going first, am I?
All right, ready?
No pressure, ready?
Don't cheat either, Oga.
No, I won't cheat.
All right, just...
2,
1, go.
Here we go.
Yeah, oh, not a bad start. You got to throw him quicker, Oga.
Yep.
Yeah, there he goes.
Hang on. We've got a halfback.
Oh, yeah, here he goes.
Front rower.
There it is, 7.
Let's go.
You got to throw more, Oga.
Ready to go. Yeah,
yeah, more.
Hey, we don't even have a heart attack.
Settle down, Joey.
20 seconds.
There we go.
Come on.
Yeah, Freddie.
Freddie said he'll give him mouth to mouth.
That was him, too.
5 seconds till you swap.
Keep going, Oga. Keep going.
Yeah, nice.
2, 1.
Ready. Other side. Left to right. Left to right.
Oh, Billy.
Sabotage.
That's a point.
Horrible, Joey.
What a Queenslander.
Freddie.
20 to go.
How did I get lured into this?
How's the hard going?
There we go.
Mace is watching.
Got the Cody Walkers going.
Yeah, Willie's doing
10 to go.
Go. And again.
Oh,
Ready,
he's on
ready.
fire.
And again.
Ready.
And again.
5, 4,
And again.
3,
And again. Keep going. Keep going.
1.
I'll get you one back.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes, Oga.
Nice.
Bad at all.
Probably about 50%.
For a front rower with a bad neck.
It is a long minute.
Bad neck,
I
bad
think we've
back,
got
bad ticker.
the score a little bit later.
Fire.
Killed
The
it.
kids are up.
Okay, boys.
Sam and Brock.
30 seconds each.
Let's go.
There's your line.
Who's first? Brock, you're first.
I need a handy. Yep.
Ready, all right.
You get you go down there and I'll
3,
change with you, all right?
2,
Oh, go.
1. Go, Brock.
Go.
Well, there we go.
And again.
Yes.
Oh, quicker, mate.
That's
All right,
it.
That's it, Brock.
Nice.
Quicker, mate.
3 in a row.
On fire.
Keep going.
Yo.
Oh, yeah. And again. And again.
Yeah, that's it.
Go, go, go. Go, go.
Good stuff.
Use your core, mate. Use your core.
Mate, the core's
Western
on.
Suburbs
It's
Red
on
Devils,
fire.
they're all watching, Brock.
Yeah, come over.
Ready.
Come over. Come
10
over.
seconds to go.
You're
10 to go, 10
next.
to go. Go, get up there.
That's it.
Go. Need a good change.
4 seconds.
3 to go.
3,
2.
2.
Let's
One.
go, let's go.
Go, go, go.
You get Sam.
Yes.
Oga.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Oh, yes.
On a roll, Sam.
Yes.
20
Yeah.
seconds, Sam.
Keep going, Sam.
Yeah.
Technique.
That's it.
Yes.
There we
10
go.
Oh, yeah.
seconds, Sam. Bring it home for the Western Suburbs Red Devils.
Okay.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Another one.
One more. Go, 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 go. Oh.
Anxiety attack.
Well done.
Stay
Big
loose.
round of applause for Sam and Brock. Good effort. Come on in.
Well done, boys.
Bring it in close.
That sausage
go.
roll's repeating.
So this is for 310. Is this for the kiddies?
Boom.
Yes, 310.
Not bad, not bad.
And the leaderboard all up for...
Well, we got new winners last week.
Please, drum roll, please. Where do you think they finished, Freddie?
I reckon about 6th or 7th.
6th or 7th, okay.
6th or 7th. We didn't see it.
No, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming.
Here we go.
Oh, this is for the guest. No
Yes,
way.
Ogre.
Ogre's up the
Did
top.
you beat-
Ogre, yes.
That's a G.
You beat Hazard.
But you beat Lockie. You beat Lockie.
Who was counting
Good
upstairs?
detail, Joey.
Is that legit?
That's
Producer Thomas says
Sandy
that
was
is
counting
legit.
it up.
Well done.
Maybe I was in the car park.
Alrighty. Who would have
You would
thought
have had
a
a pass
front
Stephen
rower
home for
is
sure.
at the top of the
100%.
leaderboard? Thank you for coming in to Ryan, Sam and Brock. Well done. We really appreciate it. We hope all of your friends were watching at home. Stay with us here on the Sunday Footy Show. We're going to wrap it all up after this short break.
That is the grand final. What a magnificent match. Youngest player to play in a grand final since Lance Thompson back in 1996.
And now John can confirm for me, have you given your grand final ring to Steve Price?
Yes, that's right. But he's been here all year, and we did it for him.
That is a great gesture, Ray. That's one of the great grand final stories.
I just can't describe it. I see this is the best feeling ever, mate. It's what you play footy for. It's what you play footy for.
Oh, yes, a moment that the Doggies fans will never forget, and a moment that a baby-faced Jonathan Thurston will remember for the rest of his life. And I'm very pleased to say that JT joins us now from Accor Stadium in the build-up to the big one today. JT, you haven't aged too much since that day, but does it give you goosebumps hearing and watching that special moment?
Yeah, my nephews send me that clip all the time, so I cringe because I'm like screaming at the top of my lungs because you couldn't hear anything. So, yeah, but unbelievable memories for me. First grand final with the Dogs, and yeah, got some great friendships there as well.
Maybe just had one of your teammates on. They just spoke about giving the ring to Stephen Price, your captain, who couldn't play on that night. But we had Mark O'Mealy on. Can you tell us about the two front rowers?
Yeah, they were enormous. Everyone knows what Mark O'Mealy's like. He doesn't take a backward step and really goes after the opposition forward packs in his prime as well. And Steve Price was just a great leader, led by example on and off the field, and an easy man to follow when you go onto the field. So, yeah, they were, as a half, you need front rowers that's laying a platform, and those two certainly did that throughout their careers. So I feel very blessed to be able to play with those boys.
JT, sudden death football this afternoon, and behind you it looks like an incredible afternoon at Accor Stadium. Who does that favour this beautiful day? Who does it favour the footy that they're going to play?
I think it probably favours the Penrith Panthers. As an ex-Dogs player, hope they can put in a really good performance. I know that there's some conjecture around Stephen Crichton and the likes, but yeah, I want them to play a bit more football. Second phase play, you can't beat Penrith by just sticking to your system. The Canterbury Bulldogs have got powerful back rollers, so I'd like to see them try and terrorise the halves of the Penrith Panthers and try and bring some fatigue into their game. But yeah, I think the conditions certainly suit the Penrith Panthers today.
Over the years, the Dogs have always aimed up in big games, and it feels like they're a big game club. What's coming today? Can you feel something special coming?
Yeah, I hope so. You know, being a part of the club in my early years, when they had their backs against the walls, that's when it brought the best out in the club. And I feel like today, their backs are against the wall. Not many people are giving them a chance, and this is when they rise to the top and really put in a big performance. And we've seen that over the years with the Canterbury Bulldogs, that when they've got their backs against the walls, that's when they, you know, bring out their best. So hopefully that is today.
I think one of their best, if I go back to 2004, there was Thurston, Sonny Bill, Asatasi and Rennie Matura on the bench. When I look at the Dogs bench today, I see a really great bench that gives you plenty of impact. Kurt Mann, Satili Tupanua, Harry Hayes and Reid Marnie. What do you like about them?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of power there. Like I mentioned, the back rowers, Satili Tupanua, he was enormous for him over the last month, so they'll no doubt need him to be great. Reid Marnie, we know what he can do with his service. Obviously, we'd like to see him run a little bit more off a quick play the ball as well. But, yeah, they've got a great forward pack there that can lay a platform, and Galvin and Sexton certainly need to play off the back of that and bring Matt Burton into the game with Connor Tracy. So, like I said, you can't beat the Penrith Panthers with their defensive system. So you've got to play unstructured footy, and I think those offloads with their quick men around the ruck can cause some havoc.
Thanks for coming on, JT. We'll see you out there shortly. Bring it on.
Can't wait.
Can't wait to see Jonathan Thurston from 2:30. We're going to wrap up the show after this very short break. See you soon. 8:40 tomorrow night, 100% footy. We have a live audience. Daryl Halligan and Isaiah Katoa are our special guests. One-word answer. Who wins this afternoon?
Penrith.
Panthers.
3 from 3, Penrith winning coverage from 2:30 p.m. Enjoy your finals footy, everyone. We will see you then.